are recording. You're
okay.
I'm being unstable, but I'm not starting tonight.
Okay, Eli's having some problems. All right.
No,
Okay.
I don't think I'm having a problem.
You're
But I'm not
technical,
starting tonight.
right? But your internet just cut out for a moment. We couldn't hear you for a while. Now you're back.
Let's try again.
That's right. That's right. In these days, we over-identify with our internet connection.
We're in a Zoom
just glad
world.
It's not me, it's my connection. All right, calm down, Bill. All right, so welcome everybody. First of all, I want to echo Lou's sentiments about seeing all your smiling faces, and it's great to have you here, and it's great to have you with us. Welcome back to our ongoing quest to build a culture of empathy. Again, just to repeat. As Edwin said before, we're recording this call for educational and promotional purposes. And then we'll do a short round of check-ins, take up to 30 seconds to share any questions, comments, etc. from the last session. How is the empathy buddy call, or any short report from facilitating an empathy circle. And I'll call on people for brevity. And we'll start with Kelly.
I had a pretty okay week. My empathy circle got sort of canceled through a cascade of people not confirming and then assuming it wasn't happening, I guess. But we got one lined up for next week, so I'm not giving up. I had a really nice buddy call with my friend Brandon, which was kind of nice because it was a good excuse. We were due for a chat, and so it was nice. We got paired up, and it was good to catch up.
Great, thank you, Kelly. Susan?
Yes, wonderful call with Nadev, and he was riding home on a bus. I think he's going to be here in a few minutes.
Yeah, he just came.
And I used my empathy circle time to encourage my husband to be more empathic. Wish me well, please. I'm looking forward to today's program.
Great, thanks, Susan. Kian.
Not muted. Yeah, I had a good week, and a good call with Eli, and I also really enjoyed the circle I facilitated, and I'm really getting into coming up with topics and how to do that, and yeah, so I had a good week.
Great, thanks. Leslie.
Yeah, I had an impromptu empathy circle. We had another homeschooling family with us outdoors, and they were happy enough to join me and Kian. So we did an empathy circle with them, and they were really lit up about it. So that was great. And had a wonderful call with Shoshana this week. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and sad that we're coming to a close.
Great. Well, great to have you here. Remember, you can take it as many times as you want. All right, Kate.
Yeah, I had a nice call with Tim, and I don't know if you can call two people a circle, but there were two of us for the circle I organized this week, and it was still yeah, really great and really powerful. So I keep on doing it.
Great, thanks. Deborah.
Yeah, a good week. I ran 2 circles. My second one was a dyad, like Kate's. Interesting. And I'm having fun with the topics. I chose age for one and then play for another. And I find just using one word, you can really, people can take the topic in any direction they want. That's really interesting. And I've also got interest from my boss to run empathy circles within the care sector, and from someone else today as well. So it's all
Great,
good.
great. Well, I hope, let us know if we can give you any support. George.
Oh, aloha. Had a wonderful connection with my empathy buddy, Jane, and new awareness about Lunar New Year, Korean style. I'm part Chinese, so I always hear of Chinese New Year. I didn't do a circle this week, but good news is probably have 2 or 3 this upcoming week. And also share that kind of sadness, I guess, that this is the last of our cohort meetings, but we have an opportunity to reconnect, of course, in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Cody?
Oh, hi there. I've really dropped the ball this week with that. I didn't do Empathy Circle, and Greg and I failed to meet up. But what's interesting is that I've watched this modality seep into every conversation I have. I'm now like, I can't help but like see its natural inclinations of like me reflecting and then watching other people do it. And so that's getting me really curious. So something's happening.
Great, thanks, Cody. Brandon?
Yeah, also enjoyed my call with Kelly. We've been trying to find a time to catch up, so it was nice again, I agree, for an excuse for us to reconnect. I'm feeling like, okay, first I want to say that I recognize the benefits and the power of these empathy circles from the experiences that I've had. And there's a very large voice in me right now that wants to challenge this modality, and is like wanting to be skeptical. So I just want to share that. And something that came up in my circle this week was like questioning why we don't add like the validation and actually like giving direct empathy as you might see in other modalities. And I feel like we might have covered that here. And I do see how it kind of happens naturally, but I guess I just wanted to hear again, like why we don't do that in this modality.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Open question there. Thanks, Brandon. Heather?
I had a really good call with Sharon. We're in very different time zones, so that was reminding me to learn the time zones. One of the things that we kind of brainstormed together after our call is some topics, and because I really want to do a circle with my sisters and wanted to kind of come up with maybe like a less risky topic. So we thought I'm going to try with just kind of like some fond or funny memories from childhood that we can share, to because it's always easy to do the not so happy memories. So and I also had a good call with Bill and kind of brainstormed some different ways to bring circles to schools. So that's our last session.
Thank you, Heather. Kat?
I had a good call with you, Bill, and it was really insightful, and I really appreciated some of the information that I got from that. I also had quite a full-on circle because it was full, and it was the first proper one I've really done that had everyone in it, and I had to do it properly, like fully. And also next week I'm full, and I have a little waiting list, so that's starting to work out there. People are starting to realize the value. And then I also spoke to a global leadership kind of coordinator in the company I work for, who works quite closely with a lot of leaders in the company to be able to find a place to put it there, probably as part of the Women's International Day. I think we'll start with something there. So yeah, it's been very productive.
Great, thank you, Kat. Diane?
Hi, I had a great call with Deborah. That was very good. And I did 2 circles with Shoshana. One we co-hosted or co-facilitated, and one I was doing like a breakout room. And it was really, really good. It was interesting being a co-facilitator. It was a little hard to keep my mouth closed at certain points where I would have said something, and but she was the one who was doing that part of saying something or not. And I have some ideas for going forward, so that's exciting. Thanks.
Great, Diane. Greg?
Yes, as Cody said, we failed to contact, and I didn't do a circle either. So got to work on that. I'm thinking about, along with Edwin and all you guys, about how to bring this into politics a little bit, because I had a committee meeting that was very, people were not understanding each other at all. I thought maybe an empathy circle would be a good idea here. Before I'm done, I got to say, once again, I really appreciate and respect those of you who are joining from a difficult time. Korea, Israel, Berlin, the UK. Thank you so much for putting out the extra effort.
Thanks, Greg. I'm sure we all echo those sentiments. Nadav.
Hi. I had a really nice talk with Susan. We took a couple of tries to achieve it, and I was actually offered to do some empathy circle, but I couldn't schedule it. I didn't manage, which I feel ashamed about. But I also relate with the stuff Cody said, I think, about it's really how I communicate a lot since I was exposed to this kind of empathy, and I love it.
Great. Thanks, Nadav. Jane.
Yeah, it is great that I had this circle and I completed this, including today. I'm here today because it is a kind of hard to participate this early morning. I'm happy, but I feel also sad that it is the last chance we can be here. I had a great time with George with the body call. Actually, I didn't have a chance to do the empathy circle because here we have something big holiday, New Year, Lunar New Year here. So I didn't have any chance to meet with other friends to do that. But while I was having a body call with George, we also practiced this empathy circle. Then I found that if the topic is too interesting, I'm too much into that one, I made a big mistake. I asked a lot of questions to him, and I also tried to say my answer or something. I made many different type of mistake while I was doing empathy circle with George, and then he also reminded me, and I had it was really great that I could see what could be happen. Even I thought I know well now. So it was a great chance that I had a good call with George. Thank you for that one.
Great, thank you, Jane. Thanks for all of your efforts. And I just want to be aware of time here. Do you want to skip the trainer introductions here and then Edwin?
I think we could just quickly check in.
Okay, well, why don't you go, Edwin?
Yeah, just real quick. We had our Friday orientation to the Empathy Cafe. It was Bill and Shoshone and I were there, and it was like a minute or two before the session started. And it was like, oh, only a few people. And we're kind of joking, oh, it looks like maybe nobody's going to come. And suddenly people started popping in. It was like 36 people we had in the call. It was like, whoa, I was totally like flustered, like how to sort of manage that many people. So, well, fortunately, we had just enough facilitators to help support that. So I invite you, if you want to practice, come to the Friday orientation. You can facilitate the breakout circle there. So yeah, that's it.
Great.
Thanks,
Eli?
Bill.
Hi, I'm having just severe connection and problems, and I'm just really frustrated right now because I've only heard about every third word that's been said during all the check-ins, and I'm concerned about being able to even function in a breakout room. So I'm a little frazzled now, but I'm still here. The power hasn't gone out, so that's better than last week. So
It's okay to turn
anyway.
your video off. Just
That helps.
Oh, okay. Eli, I guess, is done. Shoshana.
Yeah, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I did an experiment this week, and along with Diane, I teach like a 25 segment, I guess you could call it a course. And the topics are very deep and like philosophical, religious, emotional, and each of them have an illustration that go with them. And I got this idea, and I asked the group's permission the week before, if instead of doing a new lesson this last week, we could have an empathy circle. And so we did that. I asked them all to have the illustration in front of them. And it was very interesting. They all were very good participants. The debrief I found the most interesting because everyone pretty much said the same thing, that the learning of the lesson was so much more integrated in their being by having an empathy circle on what they learned last week. And so I'm really like thinking about restructuring my whole course. But anyways, that was very, very fun. And I'm really thankful that Diane was there because I couldn't have handled it myself. So that was really great. And I had a great call with Leslie, and she gave me a word that I really needed to appropriate in my life. So I'm very thankful.
Great. Thanks, Shoshana. Timothy.
Hey, everybody. I woke up here on the coast of California just needing some downtime today. I just lay in bed and gave myself empathy, just started tuning into my own soul. I haven't slowed down and done that for a long time. And I need that reflection time and that deep quiet to hear my own heart and appreciate life. So I got to do that, and I had a nice call with Kate to touch into that a little bit. So I'm grateful. A couple things. I'm really excited by what Brandon said. I want to rail against this thing. I got some problems here. Made me so happy. I hope we can build that into our training today. If not, Brandon, let's talk. I'm stoked to hear, that frustration or the challenges that we get into and stuff. And, want to hear more about that question. And then finally, I just want to, I'm excited to acknowledge that, Edwin has been setting up ongoing support and collegial groups. This group does not have to end. There's one on every other Friday, but there's also other possibilities. So let's work together to keep in touch, and we can continue this with all the other cohorts too. So I just want to advocate for that again. Thanks.
Okay. And I checked in. I had great calls with Heather and Kat. And again, I'm just really so appreciative whenever I talk to any of you of what you're bringing to it. I've been with the Empathy Circle, and there have been struggles at time, but there's no shortage of inspiration that I get from you all. So thank you. I also want to say is that you can take the course again, and also I will put my email in, and I've have another course for 4 sessions about this. It's 2.5 hours about empathy schools in schools and kind of the behavioral dynamics and things like that. So I'm kind of beta testing it, and so I only need a few people, to give it a start. So if you're interested, let me know. And send me an email, and we'll set something up. And I want to turn it over to Lou now.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here and see everybody. I want to let everyone know that I have some personal stuff going on that I really need to take care of today. So I wanted to come and see everyone and connect with the group and kind of close you, but I'm not going to stay for the whole session. I'm gonna go at the end of checkouts, and hope you'll understand that you're in very good hands with the rest of the teaching team. But I have some stuff I need to take care of. I would say as a check-in, I did some listening this week 2 or 3 instances where people close to me, including family members, called with real difficulties. And the power of listening, just being there and hearing them, not giving advice, not like asking lots of questions, but just being there is, that was reaffirmed for me, the effectiveness of that. So the next thing I want to do is the people that filled out feedback forms for the last session. There were questions in there, and I just want to go down those and briefly address those questions. So the first was someone wrote about the steps for doing an intervention. Wanted kind of just clarity about that. Like when, as a facilitator, when you notice something, you feel like something is not going right with the circle, or you notice something, the steps that I think of, the steps that I'm conscious of that I take in doing an intervention is first notice something's going on, and then evaluate whether this is the right time to intervene. Should I let it go? Is it too small or not? If I decide I am going to intervene, then the first thing I do is try to name what's happening. Like if somebody's asking a question, or somebody is evaluating, like the listener's evaluating what the person's saying, or if a person has the timer's gone off, but they're not slowing down at all in their speaking, then I just naming that. Like, I see you're asking a question now, or I see you seem to be agreeing or disagreeing with what's being said, or I see the timer went off, maybe you didn't hear it. So naming what happened, and then if empathy is needed, provide a little bit of that, and then invite the person into what you do want them to do, as opposed to telling them what not to do. Hey, don't ask questions like that. Say, well, your role right now is to just listen and reflect back, and asking questions isn't part of that. So just be there and reflect back what you're hearing. So I'm inviting them into doing what you do want them to do. And then the other thing is that the providing empathy part might also involve explaining why we do what we do. Like the reason we don't ask questions is so that the person has a chance to just explore what it is they're wanting to say without interference from someone else, without any kind of interaction around it. And that it's interesting to see what happens when you do that. That's different than what people normally do. And this is kind of an experiment to see what happens when you do that. It's something magical happens. So try it, something like that. Okay, second question was about how do you get people to participate? This is a question that comes up often, and we're actually thinking about maybe trying to add something to the course about it. I would say the two main things are people have to understand what you're inviting them to. And they either do that by because they just trust you. So trust is an important thing, or framing what you are asking them to do in a way that has meaning for them, and being clear about what it is you're asking to do. I think for me, those are the elements, I think, in helping people to influence them to participate. But there's a lot more than that. There's a lot of good thinking about that, and we should have a separate session on that. Okay. How do you deal with a person who is expressing very strong emotion in the circle? Like maybe they're crying, or, what do you do with that as a facilitator? And I'd say, really, you just want to welcome it. And if you notice inside that it's upsetting to you to see the person crying, like you're having a big emotional reaction, like you want to stop it, or you want to see it stop, which is often what happens. People are uncomfortable with heavy emotion. And our instinct is to try to stop it, thinking that if we stop the expression, then we're stopping the person feeling bad. And the truth is, the opposite is true, actually. Giving them a chance to express it is part of what helps them move through it. So try to breathe and just sit with it. And then if you think you're being triggered by it, or other people are being triggered by it, as a facilitator, you might just acknowledge that. Sometimes this is very emotional. Sometimes it's difficult to hear that. If you want to talk about it when it's your turn, you're welcome to do that. Yeah, Susan, you want to say something?
I recommend the phrase, you can talk through your tears.
Okay.
They tend to go on and have permission.
Okay. Yeah, and it's also okay for a person not to talk. They don't have to explain what they're feeling, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Empathy bias. Deborah asked a question about empathy bias, and I don't know what that is. Do you want to say something about what that is, Deborah?
Yeah, it's tricky biases. It's something around how we might find it easier to listen or have empathy for people that we think we have a connection with or more in common with. Yeah, so it's just kind of noticing that
Okay.
might be going on. Yeah.
Yep,
For
I
some
understand
people.
what you're saying. Yep. Like I sometimes have trouble staying in empathy for people who are being very judgmental. And yeah, and I want to tell them, hey, you shouldn't be so judgmental, but that's not what they need. So yeah, so you're saying recognizing in yourself the kinds of expressions that are difficult for you to hear and stay in empathy for. And that's good. And that if you notice that happening, that's just an area of personal work for you to work on. Yeah. Okay, limiting belief. How do I overcome limiting beliefs and the inner critic? And that's also internal work, and it's good to notice when it's happening. When you have a critic talking to you, telling you you're not enough, or you're screwing up, you're not doing this right, you're not good enough to hold an empathy circle, and whatever the negative talk is. And just briefly, I'll say, when that happens to me, I notice that voice is there, and I try to thank it because it's trying to protect me in some way from like embarrassing myself or something like that. But I also know that I don't have to listen to it. It's my fear talking. And I try to bring in a more compassionate voice for myself. I try to activate that, saying, just keep breathing, you'll be okay. You know what to do, trust your instincts. Those are the messages for me that help me stay connected to myself. So, you have to look at that internal dialogue for yourself and try to develop the compassionate side. And there's a lot more that could be said about that. There's a whole bunch of work could be done. That's personal growth work. What do you do with people who don't want to open up in the circle? I would say accept them for where they are and be careful not to judge them or make them feel like they're not welcome or they're inadequate if they're not expressing their emotions. People express at whatever level they're comfortable with. And I ask myself as a facilitator, how can I create more safety if somebody's not willing to be open? Is there a way that I could create more safety? But I'm also I work hard to just accept them where they are. When they're ready and they feel safe, they will open up. Okay, how do you deal with different size groups? If it's a large group, you need more facilitators. If you have a larger group than you expected, you can reduce the amount of time that each person gets to speak. That helps it go around with the idea. Again, the idea is you want to try to get to a third or fourth expression. So you do the calculation that way. How do I modify what's happening? Another way I've dealt with large groups is leaving out the reflection. That's a pretty big step, but that is one way of dealing with groups. So you still have time turns, and you still make sure that everyone gets to speak once before anyone speaks twice, but you drop the reflection, and that is one way of dealing with a large group and a limited amount of time. At least people are being heard without interruption. And then I just wanted to make two comments about things that were said in the circle this morning. Cody talked about silent empathy. No, how did this? I can't remember exactly what Cody said, but what it reminded me is that empathy can be offered silently. Oh, you were saying you noticed how this practice was creeping into all your conversations. And one of the ways it can creep in is you are doing empathy silently when you're with someone. So rather than thinking about how right or wrong what they're saying is, or how much you disagree with it, or your objections to it, you're just connecting with what they're saying and what it means to them. And that's offering empathy silently. And you don't have to say anything, but it changes the dynamic of the interaction if you do that, if that's where you are. And then the other, I just wanted to say, Brandon's, I welcome your skepticism, and I'd love to be in a circle, an empathy circle around people's dislike of empathy circle practice or whatever their objections to it are. I'd love to be in a circle like that and listen to what people have to say. I also think that you mentioned validation. Why isn't there a validation piece? And I would say that listening to someone and reflecting back what you're hearing is a form of validation. It's not evaluative. It doesn't include evaluation. And I actually think it's nice for people to be relieved of people evaluating them and just getting them, just receiving them. So, and any of the other instructors want to add anything? That was a lot.
No, that was great. That was very, covered it really well, I thought.
Okay. So I'm going to step out then, and I just want to say thank you all to you. I care about all of you, and I'm so grateful that all of you have been part of this. And I hope that I will see you again, either in another training or in the Friday Empathy Facilitators Training session that we do every other Friday at 12:30 Pacific time. Bring your questions, bring your skepticism, bring your challenges, bring your internal personal work that you need to do, bring any of that to the Friday session. And I look forward to seeing you there or at some other place.
And can we give Lou a jazz hand send off? Our gratitude for all your support, Lou.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great session.
Okay, so our next part, so what this overall session is about is sort of an integration of, what we've been doing. I think Shoshona, what you were saying, like how, at your workshop, you had an empathy cafe, and it was like this integration that happens because you're really hearing more deeply and having your thoughts shared and kind of going deeper into your thoughts and having them shared. So that's part of what this session is about, is sort of an integration of the learning. And the second part is to sort of get the sort of feedback. What has been your experience? And I put some questions in there for the circle. You'll see it's it's like, what did you like, about the training? What did you see as the benefits? What ideas do you have for improving it? And especially around the challenges, I'm really excited. I put you, Brandon, I think I put you in the circle with me. So I love challenges. I love criticisms. It's so much fun to be able to empathize with those. So because there's some energy there, and it's a really great learning. So just share any kind of criticisms or, sort of challenges you have of the practice or questions, and maybe ideas for, improvement. And then how will you be applying the empathy circles, going forward? I heard a lot of different projects and we want to hear about those too. So that's the basics. For this session, we have 4 circles. So there'll be one staying here. It's our trainers who will be doing the basic facilitation. Since everyone knows the practice so well, there's not much to do for facilitation. It's just pretty much the timekeeping. And Eli, if you're having trouble, you can also just turn the video off. That would be okay if you have bandwidth issues.
It's not bandwidth, it's actually going down intermittently.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
all right. So
when
anyway,
it's up, it's fine.
Yeah. So there's not much. It's just those are the questions. They're in the chat there. You can consider which ones you want to talk about. And again, of course, anything that's alive for you, you can talk about that as well. So we're going to go for about a little bit over an hour. At a quarter till the top of the hour, we'll come back. And I'll give a 10-minute warning too before we come back. So I think we're ready to just go into the circles, and those are the questions, and we'll take it from there. And here we go. Opened all the rooms. See you in the rooms.
Edwin,
Yep.
I realized that it's too much for me, like in this hour and after all I've experienced today. So I feel pretty sad, but I think it would be too much if I continue today with this session. So I just say I really enjoyed this, and thank you very, very much. I learned a lot.
Okay. Thanks, Nadiv. Great to have you be part of it.
Thank you.
Nadav, thank you. We're with you, and you're with us in the spirit of this. Take it easy. You well. We are together.
Thanks, Timothy. Bye-bye. Good night. Good night here.
Good night.
Oh, wait. Whoa, what happened? The wrong button got pushed. Sorry, that's, I don't know, somehow it's closing all the.
Edwin, we got a message that the breakout sessions would end in 59 seconds and we
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remake them. I don't know, I'm not quite sure what happened. Sorry about that.
Oh, high tech strikes again.
Huh, I don't think I hit any button, but sorry, but everybody's gonna come back in a few seconds. So we'll be in this room, staying in the white room, Timothy, but I'll just have to recreate the rooms. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Somehow it's bringing us all back in. I'm going to try again to open all the rooms. So hopefully I didn't hit the wrong button. Just keep you on your toes. Okay, here we go. Try this again.
Try again.
That was the fastest hour ever.
I'm glad that we have a dreamer with us. Very, very nice compliment that somebody's so comfortable they can dream with us. I feel happy.
She's actually in room 2, so she may be moved there automatically in a
Oh no!
seconds.
I want her to be with us. Let the voices just add to the deep exploration.
Okay, so this is somehow it's acting a little funny here, but okay.
Hi, Kian. Hi, Kat. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
Hi, Kate, if you can hear me. There you are.
Don't wake her up.
Kate.
Oh,
we're just about to start. Kate, we're just about to start some small group reflections. Yeah, it looks like you had a nice little relaxing nap there, and it was very nice. I'm so happy to see that. You're still muted there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just.
It's perfect. Perfect.
Are you okay? I said not to wake you up.
It's been a long, busy day. Feeling sleepy at that hour.
So what should I do now? Sorry.
You were put in room 2. Is there a choice, or somehow it's not putting you in that room?
No, I'm gonna go now. Thank you.
Yeah, just reflections on learnings and stuff and what you like.
See you.
Sure. Oh, there she goes. Okay. Okay, this is it. Timothy, you're up.
I'm up. Okay. Welcome to this Empathy Circle practice with actually 3 questions. And what I'd like to do is give us each, I like the 5-minute block. I don't want to reduce it, but I want to give us each a chance to respond to any of these 3 questions or what's alive for you. And the questions are in the chat. What did you like about the training? What worked for you? What would you like to see this training continue? Number two, what ideas do you have for improving the training? And number three, how will you, if you will, how will you be applying empathy circles going forward to create a culture of empathy and or whatever's alive for you? Now, as you know, Edwin and I are very excited for that second question. In other words, like, what doesn't work and what are you just feeling just upset or resistant about or anything at all? Because, you know, this is just about a level of wonderful honesty, celebrating what works and what doesn't for you, right? And this is a harvesting with the intention of growing this training and building a culture of empathy in an effective way. Okay, so I guess I'll just be facilitating. I will be timing for 5 minutes each. And now here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to propose that when it's your turn to speak, please respond to whatever question is most alive for you, where your passion is. So pick one. What worked for you? Maybe there's something you're celebrating. What didn't work? Something you're frustrated about, or how you're going to be applying it. And then maybe when we come around for the next, your next turn, you can answer a different question or stay with the same. Okay, with your choice. All right. So yeah, I'm wondering if there's any questions before we begin. Okay. So what I would invite you to do is check within yourself. And if you've got something you really like to express, speak up now and I'll begin the timer and go ahead and choose a listener. Also, I will be taking notes, or maybe Edwin, since I'm facilitating, maybe you could take some notes since you'll be collecting them anyway.
Yeah, also recording. Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. Great. Okay, great. Good. Does anybody have something stirring to respond to any of these questions right now?
I'll go for it first.
Thank you, Kat, very much. I'll start the timer. Who would you like to listen to you?
Sharon, would you like to be the listener?
Hello.
Hello. I have quite a lot of answers to all of these questions, so I'm just going to go slowly. I think one thing that's coming to mind is that the work that I do with learning management systems contains a lot of e-learning. So my head's starting to imagine how this would look like in that format.
Your pause. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm just gonna I'm just making you a bit bigger while I've got a second because I can't see you very well and I can see you better now. Sorry, you're really big now. Yeah, so you're talking, or I heard you talk about you think that you could probably answer all the questions. And you then started talking about your management systems and e-learning and are thinking about how the empathy circles could work in that sort of situation or model.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I stare at e-learning all day and also virtual sessions, all sorts of different types. So then I just started thinking about that, thinking, oh, how would that look and what parts would be effectively put into that? So then you can meet more capacity was part of the reasoning.
Okay, so you said some technical things which might have gone a bit over my head. And then, but the main thing is about capacity and how that can be, and that then must mean how many people that you can get on at any one time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, capacity was the main point I was making. And also the way it looks as well is one of the factors that you can make it quite shiny and fun and stuff like that. Interactive.
Okay, so the way that it looks, whether it's shiny and fun and interactive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was one part that I thought of. Because I do like to be quite creative with whatever I'm doing, and I can't help it. I just do it all the time. And another part of it is also about how I want to apply the empathy circles going forward.
Okay, so when you're thinking about the content of them, you're quite a creative person. So you're thinking about what you can do with them when you're working with them creatively. And then, yeah, just thinking about how you're going to take it forward, really.
Yeah, absolutely, because I like to use this program called Trello, which I kind of construct a mental kind of pattern, and then I try and install that pattern in my head, and then I'm trying to work out how to apply that construct with the empathy circles in order to support change in people's personal growth.
Okay, so you use a package called Trello. You're trying to work out how you'll use that with the empathy circles and apply it to people's personal growth.
Yes, because you can put the topics in with pretty pictures and links and stuff, so you can inspire people visually to also help them kind of be inspired by the topics you want to kind of work through.
Ah, okay. So this goes back to the creativity aspect, I think, and you can make the topics more creative with images and other things, which might be more inspirational for people that are joining the circles.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically it's just constructing a logical structure in a way that feels really good. And then, yeah, it just resonates really nicely because you've built it how you want, and it sort of heals things as well to kind of construct that ideal.
Okay. Okay. All I'm really hearing is that you would construct this how you want to in order to heal people.
Basically, it's just, I'm describing a mental construct. It's hard to imagine without seeing it.
Yes. Okay. So you're saying it's a mental construct and it's hard to imagine without seeing it.
Yeah. So then you put it on Trello.
Okay. It. So you put it on Trello. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I feel heard. Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to change my view back to gallery. Hang on. Right. Okay. Who have I not? Brandon. I don't think I've ever talked to you. I'd love for you to hear me.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. Hi, Brandon. Right. Okay. Sorry, I've just got back from work, so I came in late, so I'm a little bit like, right. I'm just looking at the questions. Did you like about the training? I don't know. How do you know? Okay. I think what's alive for me is that we had so it sort of connected with number 3. I set up an empathy circle group in my city of Exeter in the UK, pretty much at the beginning of this training. We have about 24 members, and we have, I think I'd say we have 2 circles a week with different people.
So first I heard, Sharon, that you're feeling what sounds like a little flustered because you were a little bit late, you just got back from work. And you shared that since you began this training, you set up an empathy circle at home that has about 24 members so far.
That's right. And it's in Exeter in the UK, and we have 2 circles per week.
Okay, so it's in Exeter and you have 2 circles a week.
That's right. And then why I was thinking what was alive for me aspect is just that we had our longest circle today of 2 hours, which we were kind of building up to. We did an hour to start with, to get people sort of to have a taster, and then we tried an hour and a half, and then some people were up for trying 2 hours in order to try and see what happens, that we've heard about, you know, it going deeper and what have you. So so that happened this afternoon.
Okay, so you've slowly increased the amount of time that the circle is held for, from 1 hour to 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and you had some members just yesterday take part in the first 2-hour circle because people were willing to, were curious to see if crossing a certain threshold would cause things to go deeper.
Yeah, it was this afternoon. It was a few hours ago. Yes, it did. Is the answer. It definitely did. It felt it. I'm not sure how. It just felt different. There was a depth. There was a connection. I felt connection before, but it just, I suppose it felt therapeutic, emotional, and not just for me, because we had a debrief session at the end, and I think others were feeling that too, but all fine. Yeah.
So yeah, so it actually happened this afternoon, and it did go much deeper. It wasn't that there was more connection there. You said that you feel there was connection in the other circles too, but there was just some greater depth, some was more emotional. There was another word that you used that I'm trying to pull up.
I can't remember it, but I'm trying to. There's other people sat there, I think they can remember the word, but I can't remember the word either. It was emotional and it was something else. Anyway, don't worry about it. So, no, I would just like to flit right back up to question 1, which is, what do I like about the training? Do you know what I really like is that it was challenging today, and I would say that I felt I met that challenge as a facilitator because of the training.
So you're feeling pleased that you were prepared for the challenge that you faced today. This training helped you to be ready to face the challenge that you faced this afternoon with your group.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Feeling fully heard. Thank you.
Okay. I'll choose Edwin.
Yep, listening.
I'm taking my time right now because I noticed that I have a little bit of charge in me. And I just want to have a little bit of exercise some care around that. Just being cautious that the resistance or the skepticism that I was expressing earlier does not come out in an emotionally reactive way.
Mm-hmm. So you're taking a little bit of space and you want to have some care because you're feeling that charge, and you don't want that charge to come out in an emotional way. So you're kind of giving yourself a little bit of space for that.
Yeah, and that's particularly important to me because there's a large part of me that very much believes in this and has seen great results from it. But there just is a part of me, a part of me in most situations that will not just accept things at face value, like just needs to rock the boat a little bit. I can't not do it.
Mm-hmm. So you see the sort of the benefits of what we're doing, but there's sort of a part of you that always wants to also rock the boat, and it's just like you have to do it. You just can't sort of not do it.
Yeah. So I want to be cautious to myself, so it's not, because it often comes out. I have had patterns in the past of me identifying with that boat rocker and then it kind of causing harm and being sort of disrespectful, at least from my view at times. So I don't want to do that here.
Yes, you've noticed that when you do that boat rocking, sometimes it kind of comes out in a way that might be seen as disrespectful, and you're wanting to be careful to not do that here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's beautiful seeing how so many people here are just resonating so deeply with the practice that it's made differences in their lives and in the people they've been practicing with. And at the same time, I feel this irritation that, like, and I'm not, it may be so that, you know, I'm not the only one who feels this way or has expressed things in this way, but like, I don't, how to say this? Like, I wish everyone, like it's just this need in me that wants to make sure people don't follow things blindly. You know, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So you have sounds like a couple of different things that are going on. One is you see the sort of the effect and the positive quality of it and sort of the energy of it. On the other is you don't want people to follow anything blindly. So I'm hearing maybe some concern about, you know, sort of blindly following something.
Yeah, and that's not just with, like, again, that's not just with this. That's just sort of what my sort of, it's one of my caretaking patterns that I have in general. And like now that I'm speaking about it, I'm recognizing that, you know, my care for others is more about the care for myself in areas in my life where I feel that I've maybe fallen prey to some sort of conditioning and don't want to do that again, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so part of the concern for others not following, you know, something blindly is where you've done it yourself. Sounds like you've kind of followed something blindly yourself, and then you maybe you regret that and don't want to do it again.
Yeah. And now what else is coming up is I'm recognizing that often when I challenge something that might serve me, it's like my ego not wanting to get the thing that will serve me, like wants to still keep me in my suffering, or yeah. And so I feel like it's really loud right now because it's the last day, and it's like, okay, am I gonna run with this or not? And and yeah, there's a part of me that doesn't want to, might not want to see the benefits, like face the things that I might need to face if I go deeper into this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's this is the last day, you're kind of like wondering, oh, do I want to take this and run with it? But there's a part of you that's sort of in pain. You don't kind of really want to let go of that. It's like this sort of.
And that's time, by the way.
Oh, was that close enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
I feel heard.
Great. I speak to Kian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate what Brandon is saying, because I've always been sort of a skeptic. You know, I go to all these things where these gurus are and stuff, and I challenge it and they get all upset, you know, and so I'm always very skeptical too of different practices and processes and stuff.
Yeah, so you're appreciating what Brandon was saying and also resonating because you understand because you have similar experience.
Yeah, and you know, I also got that from my parents. They were Germans. You know, during World War II, they were just, you know, kids, young, in their early teens. So there was growing up, there was sort of this skepticism. Like they didn't even want me joining the Boy Scouts because for them that was too similar to the Hitler Youth. You know, so it's like so they were kind of skeptical of things and, you know, sort of political things and organizations, stuff like that. So I have an appreciation for that skepticism.
So yeah, you're appreciating the skepticism because sounds like it also came from your parents who were young, but in Germany during World War II.
Yeah, so instead, oh, just something that came to me is that, like they say, you know, it was like, don't trust anybody over 30. For me, it's don't trust anyone that won't empathically listen to you. it's, it's like, if you're an organization, you don't have a space where people will listen to you, you know, to hear you. I mean, don't trust it. I don't.
Yeah, so you're taking something that your parents said and saying, they said don't trust people over 30, and you're saying don't trust people who won't give you empathy.
No, that's always in the 60s when I grew up. That was the saying, this, don't trust anybody over 30. But I'm sort of expanding it just on my own that, you know, I'm pretty skeptical of groups, organizations where people won't listen and, you know, empathically listen to you and hear you out to your satisfaction.
Yeah, so it's so you're sorry.
Well, I can break it down. So one is in the 60s, it was like, don't trust anybody over 30. So I'll end, pause there.
Right. So what you said was a saying in the 60s, not just from your parents.
Right. And then the other thing is I feel skeptical about any organization where people won't listen to me or hear me out.
Yeah, so you get skeptical about organization who won't listen to you.
Yeah. So that sort of addresses sort of some of what Brandon said. The other is what Kat was saying about e-learning. I'd love to talk with Kat about e-learning because I'd like to get more, do more people with instructional design background so we can, you know, do more with the training, develop the training, you know, make it interactive and shiny. I like that word, the shiny part, you know, make it kind of aesthetically, you know, pleasing.
So you want to find out more about what Kat was talking about, and use that to build on the training.
Yeah. And so I'd like to chat with her about that maybe afterwards.
Yeah, so you're wanting to connect with Kat about that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel fully heard. Thanks, Ian.
Okay, Timothy, will you listen? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. All right, Well, first of all, I want to say that this training and the learning, you know, how to this form of communication has made a huge difference in a lot of the communication that I do.
Okay, first of all, before you say anything else, you want to acknowledge and express that this form of communication has made a difference in almost all the communication you do, everywhere.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, I'm really grateful learning it at the age that I'm at. You know, I feel like it's going to be something that I can use for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, you're grateful for learning this at this current age, and you can see yourself using this for the rest of your life. Like you're grateful to have access to this right now. It's helpful.
Yes. Yeah. I think I guess I'm wondering how I am going to, since I don't have a job where I can incorporate this into, and so I'm wondering how I'm gonna do my part in building a culture of empathy, other than the few circles I do with my family and friends and that.
Yeah, so you don't quite see beyond the circles you're doing with your friends and family, building a kind of a culture in a wider way, not having a job or anything.
Yeah, I'm you know, hoping that I can do that. This is something that I want. You know, I have for a long time, and I'm working towards a world where, you know, this can be a go-to, and this can be something that's everybody knows how to do, and that you know, there's more listening in this world.
Mm-hmm. You want to, and you are working towards a world where listening and empathy is a go-to skill that people are familiar with. It's available in all different settings.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really appreciated the training, and it's been I'm grateful, and I'm also sad that, you know, I'm not going to be able to necessarily connect with maybe a few people, but not everybody the same way. So I'm sad about that.
Mm-hmm. So you're just feeling a little sad as you kind of think about the training ending, and you value connection in the quality of connection that empathy and this practice brings about. And you'd like to extend that actually beyond maybe the few people that you've been able to have an exchange with. Something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, I actually feel heard right now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I always like, if I'm facilitating, I always like to ask, are you sure? You've got a whole other minute and a half of glorious space to express whatever you want. So I'm just going to give you a prompt as the facilitator, if there's anything else there at all.
Okay, sure. I am also really appreciating that me being a younger that how accepted, and more than that, and just really more than included, really embraced into this training. I'm really appreciating that, and the trainers, and all the other participants. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. As a younger person, you're struck and grateful to have been included, but more than included, embraced, like welcomed as like an equal, as a fellow human being into this kind of training and these conversations. And that meant a lot to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Okay. Yeah, I feel heard.
That's the bell, but if you have that last thought, anything that you want to, okay. You feel heard. Okay. Thank you, Kian. Thanks. Okay, let's see here. Kat, would you be willing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Let me set the timer here. Okay, what about this training? What did I like? What didn't I like? Okay, let's see here. Where am I going to apply it? The third question is always my boondoggle, because I always want to apply it more, because I have basic faith and understanding in what empathy is, right? It's not agreement, but it's the process of human connection. It's what human mammals need. So I know that, but I'm always maybe not giving myself enough credit. Like, where am I doing enough? You know, radio show, and like, you know, circles and communication at work with my clients, you know, with my partner. Is it ever enough? Is it ever enough? I'm always wondering, Kat.
So you're expressing enthusiasm for the questions, especially number 3, and how you're always reflecting on that around yourself with everything that you're doing. And part of you seems to be measuring it continually and intensely.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, measuring it, measuring myself, or how am I able to do that continually and intensely. Wow. Woo. Thank you. You nailed it. It feels good to be heard like that. Thank you. Let's see. I want to answer a couple other questions. You know, what did I like about the training? I always like that we get into practice. We do it. We get in and just practice. Human beings can do this. We have faith with a few tips and a basic structure. Like, it's about the structure, not about people. So I really like that.
So you're really showing a lot of appreciation for enjoying the structure as well. So it's not just the people, it's also the practice that you really like.
Yeah, thank you. And what ideas do I have about improving this training? Number one, I would like to have a space for folks to bring their burning questions and to build that in, for a good 15-minute quick fire question and answer session. The feedback form is nice, but I like to hear a live question and answer. Like, bring your doubts and your questions, and the trainers will respond. In addition, I'd like to have that, maybe a 15-minute block every session just to do that.
So you're reflecting on the feedback and how you feel like the forms don't fully meet what you're willing to do, that you're thinking about making a sort of fiery section of the training where we can all come and fire questions at you.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know my belief is that humans learn when the learning is relevant and we're open to it. So I want to meet somebody in their burning question when it's alive in the moment and we can respond. It's relevant. So I'd like to do that. And in other words, tailor our responses a little better.
So you'd like to interact more directly with people when they're bringing their questions to you so you can tailor your response directly to them live.
Yes, thank you. Live, yes. Kat, I'm really appreciating how heard I feel right now with your words and your attention. Let's see here. Also, I would like to build in a little 5-minute section every meeting for tips on empathy itself, particularly around the experience of empathy, to know, how do you know when it's happening and not happening, from when you're giving it and from when you're receiving it. I'd like to have that built in.
So you want a 5-minute empathy tip section so that you can sort of help with discernment between when it is and isn't empathy.
Discernment. Oh my gosh, Kat, you're just getting it. Thank you. And that is a physical experience, right? We know you've been heard, but how do you know? How does it feel? Let's start describing that feeling, because that's what we're going for. It's a relaxation, a release of tension, it's a quietness, it's a curiosity that comes up. How do you know you've been heard? And also, how do you know when somebody's been heard that you're empathizing with, right? I would just love those few little tips every week that people can play with and digest.
So you're looking at tips in terms of the physical and the actual experience that people have and perceive of them actually feeling heard in their body and mind and soul.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, thank you. Let's see, time's almost up. Those are some of my initial ideas and responses. I feel complete and I feel heard. Thank you so much, Kat.
Okay, so you've shared your initial thoughts and feelings, and you're expressing that you feel heard.
Yes, gratefully. Thank you.
With appreciation and gratitude. Okay, Brandon, would you like to be a listener?
Sure, Kat, I'm listening.
Okay. I think for me, I'm going to comment about what I like about the training. One thing I found quite interesting is that it's actually opened my heart, which is something that's really hard to do for me.
Yeah, so something you liked about the training is that it opened your heart, which is something that hasn't been easy for you.
Yes, because it's rare that I come across a safe space to be able to actually relax in that way, and I still fluctuate, but actually I've been able to be in that more than ever.
Mm-hmm. So it's been hard for you to find a safe space where you can do that, and even though you still feel that it goes up and down, you feel like you can do that more than you've ever been able to before.
Absolutely, and then I'm able to sort of progress from that point now, which I've never done before, to actually start to feel secure around people.
Yeah, so you feel you're progressing from the point that you've attained here in this practice, and you're feeling more comfortable to be around people.
Absolutely, and it's a direct opposition to what I'm used to in my family, so that's why I feel like this is absolutely needed, and it's something I've always known without knowing I knew it.
Right. So this has been sort of diametrically opposed to the experiences that you've had with your family, and something, you know, you didn't really know that you always kind of needed what you've been getting here, but you feel there's a part of you that kind of knew it and now you're getting it.
Yes, so now I definitely appreciate that. Was a really good reflection. So now I definitely feel like it's installing really nicely, that then to keep building on that and then embody that, to then take that out into this community, is, I feel like it's starting to pick up momentum.
So you feel that the new software is installing and kind of overriding the old software now, and you're beginning to embody this new programming, and you're able to start to take that out into the community.
Yes, because I definitely have some cynicism as well. Part of me is always trying to destroy everything because, like you said, Brandon, I relate to that a lot, because I've got different parts of me, but I'm mastering them all.
So yeah, you've noticed also some cynicism in you, and this like part of you that wants to destroy things, and you were resonating with what I had expressed earlier. And oh, I missed the last part.
That's okay. This doesn't matter. So yeah, I know from experience, so I usually go around like a carnage ball, and I do quite a lot and achieve quite a lot. I just need consistency and a foundation and regular structure.
So you often go around. I think I heard you say a Cornish ball. I don't know.
Carnage, carnage ball.
Carnage ball. Okay. Don't know what that means. And yeah, and you're saying that you just like need some structure, and I got I got cut up with the Carnage ball thing, and I lost the rest of what you said.
It's okay. It's just like a regular structure and consistency and stuff like that to help me like harness the power of the carnage ball.
Okay. Right. So you need structure and so that that can help you to incarnate the power of the Carnage ball.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. So where I am in Aberdeen, it is such a closed, oil intense place that I know that if I can embody this and hold this, I know that I can make an impact on this place. And I've already met a couple of people. I'm like, oh, actually, that might work with them. And I think I didn't believe I could, but now I see it.
So Aberdeen is kind of a closed place. People are kind of closed off, and you feel that what you're beginning to embody, you can kind of be the beacon and radiate what you've been learning out, and you've already sort of seen results to that effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm at 13 years of running a business teaching pole fitness. So then from that, I've seen that, basically, just to finish off, from doing that without structure, and now I've got the personal growth I need to actually know what to do with this.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that for 13 years you were teaching pool fitness, like aquatic
Pole dancing.
fitness?
Pole dancing.
Pole dancing. So you were doing that without any structure, and that what I'm hearing is like you're teaching sort of help to elevate others, and you did that without structure, and now that you have structure, you feel you'll be able to do that more effectively?
Yeah, basically, to summarize, just end it. The learning process over 13 years has created the knowledge that was needed from trial and error.
Right.
That's it.
So the 13 years have allowed you to learn the knowledge that you needed through trial and error, that you're now going to carry, combined with what you've learned here. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. I feel fully heard.
Thank you, Kat.
And just as a facilitator, I think we've got about 20 more minutes, more or less, just to let you know where we're at. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. Okay, Sharon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just feeling touched by both what I heard from Kian and Kat, and sharing their experiences and the impacts it's made on them, and the impacts that they feel they've made already on other people, and that they feel that they will be able to make later on.
So I heard you say that you're contemplating what Kian and Kat have been talking about, the differences that they feel that the practice is making, that they've made with it, with people, and what they're going to be able to do in the future.
Yeah. And I feel inspired. And there's a part of me that like, it's like, you know, what are you doing? Throw away all those challenges you had before. You know, you're just trying to like give, you know, give people a hard time or whatever, find the flaws, and like, look what's happening here. This is evidence that, you know, it works.
Okay, so you're feeling inspired, but I think I'm hearing that you're just still questioning the that doubting side of you, wondering about whether it does work, but you're saying to yourself, actually, I think it does.
Yeah, I there's still both sides are alive, and just what I'm witnessing here has like yeah, brought me to question why I'm questioning things.
Okay, I can hear that. Yeah, to clarify that then. So yeah, you're definitely still thinking about both sides, and whether you think, yeah, you're not sure about it still, but you're questioning why you're thinking like that. And then you're bringing back into the thoughts about Kate and Kian are helping you wonder about that a little bit more.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because like hearing you reflect back that there's two sides. I mean, there's not two sides, you know, and just how often like I just recognize that when I'm trying to like find what's right and wrong in two sides, it's just like this child, my child self needing some sort of certainty to feel safe instead of like being okay and things being ambiguous, which I feel that, yeah, I feel there's a lot of ambiguity with this practice, and that's okay.
Okay, so yeah, so you said that you don't feel there's two sides, but you're yeah, you're still trying to work out. You said you're you maybe grasping to try and, like the child inside you is grasping to try and find something, some certainty and safety, and then you're thinking maybe that it's not as straightforward, and maybe I have to accept that.
Yeah, right. Thank you. That grasping is that word resonated with me. That's right. Yeah, and then I mean I'm saying that about this right now, that this is ambiguous, but it's not just this, is that everything is. And yeah, so I guess like my challenging of things is yeah, just kind of this need again to just want a need for, like a wanting for everyone to be able to see that that's how things are. Like, that's the nature of reality. Yeah.
Okay. We're still talking about ambiguity, but I got a little bit lost in the nature of reality, I'll be honest.
That's okay. I'm a little lost in it too. I'll repeat it. So yeah, so I
time there, Brandon.
we have time. Okay. Okay.
If you want to grab this last piece, go ahead. But we just finished 5 minutes.
That's okay. I feel heard.
Okay. Are you sure? Right. Okay. Who am I gonna have? Ooh, it's exciting. Kian, are you up for it?
Yeah.
Hi, nice to see you. Okay. Right, I was writing down some things about the questions while I was listening to all of you, but I just wanted to start off by saying I just really relate to Brandon talking about questioning things. And I'm very like that as a person, and I have been like that for quite a long time, but I've just been doing it a little bit more in the last week, and sometimes I'll leave it at that for you, Kian, actually.
Yeah, so you're relating, you said, you understand what Brandon was saying about questioning things, and you're saying that you do that too, and you're noticing that recently in the past week, you said.
Yeah, it's just been coming up again around some issues to do with diversity and inclusivity, and I was talking it over with somebody today, and it came into the circle today as well, and it related to Brandon, because sometimes when I'm doing it, I say to myself, it's like, oh, just stop it. You just let people be and stop questioning them.
Yeah, so sometimes you just tell yourself you sort of like stop yourself, because you want to just let people be instead of questioning them.
Yeah.
But diversity and inclusivity, you said, inclusiveness, and you said you were talking about that with somebody earlier today.
Yeah, and it came into the circle that I did earlier. But just to try and answer the questions in the last bit of time I've got left. So things that I liked about the training, I liked, like Timothy said, I like the practical element as well, and getting on with doing it. That's one thing. I'll let you have that.
Yeah, so you appreciated, just getting right to it.
Yeah, definitely. I like the pace of the sessions. I thought they were really well paced, and I like the international aspect of it.
Yeah, so you like the pace, and you like being able to do this with people from all over the place.
Yeah, that's right, including you, Kian. And that takes me to the buddy idea. Was brilliant, as you were one of them, and I thought that was a lovely addition to it, which I didn't expect. And sometimes it was a bit of an effort to find the time to connect with the people, especially when the time zones were a bit crazy, but that was good.
Yeah, so you're appreciating the buddy calls that were part of this, and something you weren't you weren't expecting, and yeah.
Cool. And I don't know how much time I've got left. I'm looking for a time. Don't worry. If I've got enough time for 1 minute, cool. Then ideas to improve. This is the bit where I worry about questioning something and thinking I should just shut up, because but I'll just say it anyway. It did feel like the three main facilitators were men, and I understand I had Eli and Shoshana were involved, but it didn't feel like as involved, so it felt like the three main people were men. So I guess just from a like going back to our diversity and inclusiveness kind of level, I think that would be something to think. I'm presuming it was just because the females maybe weren't as experienced as the guys or something. I don't know, but thanks.
Yeah. So you're wondering if, you were wondering if you should ask or if you should question, but you said that you noticed that the three main facilitators were men, and you were going back to what you said about diversity and inclusiveness, and I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, I think I've probably finished, so I'm going to say I feel fully heard, Kian. Thank you very much.
Okay. Sharon, can I talk to you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can. Oh, yeah, 10 minutes to closing. Go on.
And just before, hold that thought. Don't forget, Kian. As a facilitator, I'm thinking it might be good. I mean, I definitely want you to finish, Kian, but after you're done, Kian, maybe we'll have 5 minutes after that. We can open up the circle to see if there's anything left unsaid. We can add a couple little things, popcorn style. So does that sound good, everybody? Any change to that? Okay, great. Okay, go ahead, Kian.
Yeah. I guess some things that I would have I felt like I would have wished for in this training was being able to, I know it's hard when there's a lot of people, but I would have liked to have been in a group or connect with more people. I really appreciated the people I did connect with. And sometimes more than one time, can go deeper, but I really enjoy just new people, doing this with new people all the time. So I would have hoped for that, but of course, yeah, I'll stop.
Okay, so I heard you say that you really appreciated all the people in the group, but you would have liked time to get round the group a bit more and meet other people that were around that you haven't sort of connected with yet.
Yeah. I also I appreciated the like just jump right into the circles, but also at the beginnings some of the insight offered from the trainers, and yeah.
Okay, so you like the practical side of things, but you also like the insights that we were given from the trainers.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm just. I guess, yeah, I also appreciated, me and my relatively small world here in a small town. I'm appreciating being able to do this with people from all over. So that's something that I haven't really done a lot, and I'm appreciating that too.
So yeah, you're talking about where you live and that you feel like it's you have sort of a certain amount of people there that you connect with, and that you felt like you've connected with a lot more people through doing this from all over the world.
Yeah, I feel heard.
Oh, thank you. Are we leaving it there, Timothy?
Yeah, I think so. And what I meant by popcorn is like, we've got these questions. Is there anything else alive for you regarding the training? Any things you would love to see different? Just to put those out there, even just for a little soundbite, even just for further exploration, not even fully explored now, but I'd invite any of us to do that. And I mean, I have one thing I can offer, but I want to make sure, does anybody else have something burning that you haven't mentioned yet in this particular session you'd like to offer to Edwin and myself and you know, to help evolve this training? Yeah, Kian.
Yeah, I just remembered another thing. I guess the challenges when we were dealing with that the past few times, you know, it was lots of fun. I really appreciated the challenges and the energy of it. I sort of didn't feel like they were all necessarily things that would apply to an actual empathy circle that I'd facilitate. You know, it was funny, and it was good to, you know, exercise my facilitating skill. But I would have liked to, you know, really deal with things that might actually happen.
Got it. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is during the practice, when you're on, you'd like to be presented with challenges that are more realistic to your situation, that are more likely. Yeah. So maybe like tailoring that practice for you and different people in different circumstances. Is that right? Cool. Cool. Anybody else?
Can I just follow on from Kian?
Sharon and then Kat after Sharon. Go ahead, Sharon.
You just made me think of something I hadn't written down, Kian, but I wasn't crazy about the challenges, and then I chose one week, and then the next week I wasn't that interested in doing it. And do you know what I'd probably rather do is that, I don't know how many circles everybody's having, but with my 2 a week, I felt like I had enough things that I could bring things from them that were real things to say, these 3 things, you know, happened this week. What do you think about these? I mean, I've even written some of them down here. Things like today, how to deal with someone who is bringing their own stuff into the reflections after doing 2 or 3 circles. So it's like they feel like they've learned how to do it in the first one, and then 3 along the line, they're bringing in stuff like, oh yeah, I feel like that too, and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, I didn't feel like I could say, I wasn't sure what to say at that point, because it felt like we'd gone 3 in. Do you know what I mean? Just very quickly, I completely agree with you, Timothy, doing that Q&A burning questions thing along the same lines as this sort of thing I'm talking about. And yeah, that's all I've got written down. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. Would you like to hear that back, or I think Edwin's taking?
To be honest, I'm fine if you want to move on with time.
Thank you, I would. Thank you so much. Kat, go ahead. You had something else you might wanted to comment about the training.
Yeah, I think for me there was one aspect. It was navigation and like the kind of training material, I suppose, because I kept trying to find things, and then I had something in my mind I was looking for, and I couldn't logically find it easily. But then I've forgotten what they are now. So I suppose when I came to the website, I was a bit like, what's the structure here, and how do I navigate? So that was just something that I thought of, because with my own view, like I'm used to sort of, when someone's new, they don't know anything. So then it's like that newcomer's eyes.
Yep.
And then they come and look at it all, and it's like, what's the logical way for those eyes with that material was part of my thought process.
Thank you so much, Kat. I appreciate that. You'd like empathic design for the website. You know, but for the new eyes, right? Like just real simple logical steps to kind of help somebody orient, maybe orientation, I heard. Is that something like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, a little bit. Okay, is there anything I missed?
No, it was just, I just see it in my head, and it's hard to tell you the thing in my head.
Okay, yeah, right. I've got this vision. I can do it for you, but it's hard to describe. Okay. I also wanted to add, Edwin, I want to deal with something, and I want to deal with a direct approach for advocating for empathy. And I have judgments about that in my world, I want it direct. I want it, you know, hey, here's this, try it with me. For me, though, that could be a little bit less creative than meeting people where they're at, and it could stimulate autonomy and resistance. Just a direct approach. Here's this, we're advocating for it, like try it. I want to deal with that because there are valid and healthy and real and very good reasons for people to have autonomy and defensiveness and like judgment and wariness and alertness come up with something like this, right? Because it's human connection. And you know, those good reasons are the trauma, historical trauma, legacy trauma, tragic abuses of leadership, you know, cults and stuff like that. Also cruelty and abuse and lies and people having any kind of power at all, even the power of trying to spread empathy, which is undermines power. There's good reasons for all this. And Edwin, I want to deal with that in this training, you know, because maybe we build in a part where like we do an understanding around leadership, around offering anything, or there's other ways to teach empathy, right? Like without a direct sit down for 2.5 hours training. I really want to look at that because empathy is relational and it's invitational and it's open and it's warm and it's relational. And so, but we need structure because we live in a world that's not founded on that. It's founded on domination and abuse, right? And historical horrible traumas. So in a warlike world, how do we introduce this in a way that doesn't stimulate resistance and fear and like the valid self-protective mechanisms to keep us all out of, you know, whatever, abuse. So I just want to talk about that, and maybe not right now, but I wanted to plant that conversation. And then the last thing I wanted to add was just, let's get up and move our bodies more and stretch, built in, like just build it in. I judge a good conversation. Oh, sorry, we're good.
Yeah, we're closing time. So
okay. Yeah,
but I made notes.
Thank you, Edwin.
Oh,
Just want to keep us on
I
track.
did a double thumbs up, a double thumbs up, and a nice stretch and a double thumbs up. Boom, boop, 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 boop.
okay. And I see an L. That's not Eli, is it?
Oh, I didn't see that before.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if it's Eli.
that just happened in the transition.
Eli dropped out a couple minutes ago. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So that's.
So there is an L.
It was E-L-I, Eli.
Right, I know, but it was, oh, it is Eli.
Is everybody back, or doesn't look like it?
We got the message. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, there they come. It's the other groups. Okay, there. That makes sense.
We were taken right up to the very last second.
Yeah, squeezing out every last minute, second, I mean, for your circles. Great.
My internet is down again, and it's not coming back. Oops.
Would you like someone else to take your next up, or someone else to do it, Eli?
Yeah, I'm on my phone on data, and it's gonna not work well.
Okay.
I see very much on the screen and everything. So if somebody else could do it, I'm sorry.
That's fine. Don't worry. So, so welcome back, everyone. We're going to do a couple of rounds of questions. Let me put the questions in. We're going to see. We'll go through each question in a different round. So this is just a chance. You've talked about these issues. We just want to hear it back for the full group. Somebody want to lead this, Bill or Timothy or Shoshona?
Okay.
This first question, which was,
sure.
What did you like about the training? So we just want to take 30 seconds or so to reflect that back for the full group.
Okay, you heard the man. Take 30 seconds, and please, we'll start with the first question. What did you like about the training? And Kian.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was, it was really amazing to, yes, obviously to learn about how to do an empathy circle and how to facilitate one, but getting to do this and learn and connect with all of you, that was something I really appreciated, and not something I do very much. I don't connect with people very much out of my, my little world these days. So I was really appreciating that. And yeah, I also just felt really included and embraced in in this, even though I'm only a lot younger. So I really appreciated that. Yeah.
Thank you, Kian. Brandon? Brandon? There you go.
Yeah, I was just taking some notes, so I gotta switch back to this window. Yeah, well, I was really touched listening to Kian in our room just now, and just really happy to hear how he has felt fully accepted in this space. It's just like, I just want everyone to feel that all the time, and it just feels so good to hear someone say it, especially when someone identifies somehow as being different in some way to the rest of the group. So it's just like, yes. And yeah, I just really enjoyed how this process has been mostly experiential, is learning through experience, and how much, like you all heard in my first empathy circle with my father, how much that's opened up for me and him. And like, we've gone with that, and my relationship with my father is deepening, and it's awesome. And that's thanks to this right now. So yay.
Great, yay. I'll echo that, yay. Kat?
What did I like about the training? There's quite a lot of factors, really. I think one of them is the international nature of it. So, like, I'm sitting up in little Scotland, and everyone's everywhere, and that's really cool. And the opportunity to connect with everyone, and the depth of connection as well. It's been really quite interesting. Having the freedom of expression. It's just all of these things that you don't normally get often have just been really powerful. And then being able to start seeing how to take that out to where I am, and the skills that are being developed and everything like that. It's just really inspirational. It's like a missing piece of a jigsaw that I just sort of go around and I find a bit and I'm like, oh my God, this is a good bit of jigsaw I've been looking for. So thanks very much for that.
Thank you, Kat. Sharon?
Hiya. Lots of things as well, but one thing I didn't mention in the session, which I'd like to say now, is well, two things actually. One thing is humor. I really like the humor that has come up as a whole, and when we did the breakout rooms, and I think that's been really important and very bonding. And then again, like everybody keeps mentioning about the international aspect, but specifically for me, it's been the cultural kind of the celebration of difference, but like seeing different cultures and learning about things like body language differences, which and language differences, and the nuances and stuff between cultures, which I've really enjoyed, and actually would love to look into that kind of thing a bit more, really. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Sharon. George?
Aloha. I like that the safety in this group, and the acceptance has been mentioned before, the worldwide flavor, the willingness and the preparation of the facilitators, right? And their openness to kind of dealing with issues instead of trying to shut things down or what have you, and the participants as well, to share and to participate authentically as human beings. You know, I really appreciated that about the course, and obviously a lot of detail and work has gone into it, and I appreciate that.
Great, thank you, George. Jane?
I really felt fully accepted here, and I feel safe to talk because the biggest insight and biggest value in me is that I don't know how to express it, but I try to show my vulnerability in here, because vulnerability always take the risk of a disconnection. So in life, actually, when I try to show where I'm weak and what I'm lack of, always have to take a risk. That's why I need enough courage. But Edwin, when he contacted me to try this one, actually I don't know, I have enough courage to participate in here. But while continuing of the process during the course, I found in the environment here is fully accepted what I faced the problem here, and cannot be problem here. They call it diversity, not the problem. I consider it problem, but here they call it diversity and the international, and in a different way they see it. So at the beginning, I frankly speaking, I just thought maybe people may not like to be a group with me because I'm not a good listener. Not only because of I'm not a good listener, because of the language barrier. They have to rephrase it. They have to find a different easy words for me. So that makes me feel like, maybe somebody may not like be with me in a group or something. But I found that because this is a training, so maybe I give you another challenges that that you can brush up your skill. So here I found that people try to face the different cultures and different people and different way of expression, and how, and also improve themselves, and also ready to accept any of the people may not, maybe somebody even they cannot speak, they can speak very only poor languages, English, but still maybe you guys will try to read the body language in small screen also to understand them. So they are ready to be that one. So maybe I took a risk of showing my vulnerability. Then the result always the two kind of result, disconnection or connection. But I feel fully connected in this circle. So really love that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. And I was just in a circle with Jane, and I really appreciated what I learned about your culture. I felt very enriched by what you said. So thank you. Heather.
I think I agree with what Jane shared about the diversity, and I think just something along the lines of really like allowing and accepting, like when we're thinking, what do I do if someone is arguing against the process or they don't want to be here? It's kind of like relaxed, like, you don't have to be here if you don't want. You're welcome, or try again another time, or basically like we don't have to control things and fix things and explain things. Just allow it to be and empathize. Like, it's just so simple. We try to make it more complex, or I do.
Thank you, Heather. Leslie.
Yeah, I feel like I'm echoing a few folks already, just saying how much I appreciated the international group that we have, and something as simple as the homework assignments have been fabulous, like that we're paired with somebody and we have that weekly exchange was so valuable. And also, that kind of nudge to create a circle and do a circle. So I feel like that the homework assignments were fabulous. And yeah, a lot more, but I'll pause because I know you got 30 seconds. So thank you.
Okay, Leslie. Thank you. Deborah?
Yeah, I've really appreciated the really high level of commitment. The screen's been full every week and everyone's just really shown up, to the max. It's fantastic. And I thought the challenging, I really appreciated the humor that was brought to the challenges. And I thought all the trainers were great at disrupting. It was yeah, it really kind of enriched the whole process, and I just think the course has been designed really, really well, with, like Leslie was saying, the homework, the buddying, and running circles. We've packed a lot into 5 weeks. Fantastic.
Thank you, Deborah. Susan.
I can say ditto to what many people have said. I'd like to add that I agree that the design is really elegant. And I'm appreciating that this is free to us and everyone on the planet, and that Edwin has dedicated himself to this, and our trainers have been front and center practicing and doing a great job. I feel really close to several of you with whom I've had some practice, and anything that designed to build a worldwide culture of empathy, I'd sign up every day. I'm teary. This is meaningful. Thank you.
It was great to have you here. And if you know Edwin, he does it every day. He'll do that. He'll take you up on that. All right. Kelly.
I think my favorite, or was it favorite? I'm forgetting the question, but the thing I liked that stands out is the weekly buddy calls. I think that's a pretty cool feature that, yeah, like even if I wasn't in a course, it would be cool to have a call with some new person to do like a little structured chat and get to know each other. So the fact that we're in this group, that kind of just makes it more coherent. But yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. So I valued that.
Thanks, Kelly. Diane?
Yeah, I really like the buddy call too. I like that it was assigned person. I didn't have to decide who to call or anything. It was all set up, and that I actually have led a few, gathered a few people and led circles in the meantime. And I appreciate it. I liked, I did like the humor too, and just the international flavor that was just connecting with so many different people. And I liked I liked being exposed to the different kinds of challenges that I might encounter.
Great. Thanks, Diane. Cody.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at the depth and the complexity of this practice. I feel like today I just understood some things about this that yeah, thanks to everyone. I mean, and that's because everyone just has all these new ideas and concepts and about it, and I'm like, I didn't look at it like that. That's okay. And so yeah, I'm just super grateful, and this is just a really wonderful, really deep practice. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Cody. And I believe that we'll just go with participants for these questions. And so I want to hand it off to Timothy, and you will do question 2.
Hey folks, this next question is, what ideas do you have for improving the training? And we really ask you to speak to what would enhance its practical nature, its usefulness, access, like what could grow this to make it more effective, from your perspective for yourself and others. And so I'm just going to go through my screen and invite you to share. Oh yeah, and if you could put this in language of like, what could actually happen differently, right? You may have some values and feelings about it, but what do you see as a very specific change? Like one of mine is, hey, I wish we had an actual 5-minute break in the middle of the process for stretches and everything, just to take a break and relax and get some more tea and go to the bathroom. Anyway, but specific requests that you might have, and of course we'll be listening. So Kian, go ahead, 30 seconds each, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I said before in the smaller group, I really really appreciated, getting to connect with the people I connected with in this, but I also wish that I could have done that with more of you. So I'm not sure how that would work out in the setting up of who's who in which group with which facilitator, but that's something I'd would definitely like. And I guess another thing was the challenges. I appreciated them; they were fun, but not all of them. I didn't feel like they were necessarily something that I might actually come across facilitating a circle. That's something I was really hoping for.
That's about time there. If anything else occurs to you, please put it in chat, like what you'd love to see. I'm sorry I didn't hit the timer on that. Is that okay, Kian? Do you feel heard there? Okay, great. Kat, go ahead. Any in 30 seconds or so, just practical suggestions.
Yeah, sure. Something I picked up on throughout the training was that we picked up on all the challenges, and then I had an urge to sort of harvest videos to see examples of facilitators, like a video response series to the challenges would be useful to then be able to see it in action.
Great. Okay. A few more seconds. Anything else there, Kat? Any other ideas you might have?
No, okay. That's just a little.
Thank you. Go ahead, Sharon. What might you suggest?
Thanks. That's a really good idea, Kat. Yeah, so I think that I would like to see the buddying idea expanded in a way. So with my Empathy Circle group here in the UK, we had Leslie come join one of our groups, which is really fantastic because I buddied with her and then we invited her over and everybody loved it. And I think just taking that international aspect a little step further and doing a little bit more of those kind of swaps, but maybe making it a bit more formalized or suggesting it to people or helping that connection happen. And also doing it within the training, but also I'm thinking now I'd like to do that more to keep in touch with all of you. And how do I then do that with everybody? I'm not quite sure.
Thank you so much. George, any practical ideas?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, one of them is maybe space at the end of the breakout sessions to kind of unstructured sharing. We kind of naturally did this, but I think that's helpful. Questions come up sometimes and maybe clarification harvesting at the end of the breakouts would be helpful. Maybe a section on challenges or promotions. Promotion of empathy circles, it seemed to be a common topic. And maybe a section on support resources are available, a huge resource body of knowledge, body of work, but I felt like it would be helpful in the facilitator training to actually do a bit and point out where can you go, whether it's a facilitator Facebook support group or the many videos that have been recorded and are available, but we haven't really been shown that. It's up to us to find them. I know my time's probably up. Thanks.
Anything else, please put it in chat. Thank you, George. Really appreciate it. Leslie.
Yes. Sharon, I'm thrilled to hear you say that. That was definitely a fabulous part of my experience in this, was our sort of off-roading and doing that. So more, please. But as far as the whole group, I mentioned at the end of our circle, I do a lot of embodied work in teaching with young people. And I feel like empathy starts right here, right? If we can't listen to our own bodies and needs, it's kind of hard, I think, if we're not empathizing with ourselves, to empathize with others. And so I love, Timothy, for example, when I was in your group, you had a designated time in our transition that we could move and, maybe go to the bathroom, get water, whatnot. But I feel like something with the body, 2.5 hours is fabulous, and I wouldn't cut it back at all. But I feel like my body needs some movement in that. And one more thing I didn't say in the last bit, I think it's fabulous to have multiple facilitators, and I've loved the opportunity to be in different groups and just hear different gazes on things, because this could be, you know, one person doing the whole show. And I think it enriches it so much to be able to travel and work with the different facilitators.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jane, what suggestions might you have?
Oh, I'd like to suggest a little bit of improvement on the website, because I found a multiple website. I tried to find something that I had before, then I couldn't find, and I have to go another email to check it, the website. So I sometimes confused the information. For example, like the principle of the empathy circle was in this page or in another page. Sometimes it makes me confused. So I hope that can be more trim. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Please, anything else? Please type it in the chat, or don't let it go. We want to hear everything. Thank you, Jane. Heather, go ahead.
I think just the idea about the breaks, kind of scheduling that in would be helpful, but really nothing else is coming up.
Okay, thanks, Heather. And Deborah.
Shoshona talked about like some kind of taxonomy of topics, which I loved. So like, you know, going from deep to light, yeah, list of topics would be really good. And actually I'd be happy to, you know, have some input on that. I'd be happy to work with some people on that. And I'm also interested in the more restorative type of empathy circling. I wondered if maybe that could be like a part 2 training. I don't know. Yeah, part 2. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Deborah. Susan, any suggestions for changes?
Yeah, just to add into what Deborah was saying, was her idea, but working with people who are burned out or really having a hard time, and to identify something that people are mutually struggling with. So credit to Deborah for the idea, but I think we could really help when there's a mutual issue like that. And my idea is probably not on the first session of a training, but to encourage people to repeat more the essence of what people say rather than all the little details. And I find people struggling with the details that don't really have the person feel heard and understood. And I had somebody who empathized for repeated for twice as long as the person spoke. That was just a drag. So let's repeat. So the goal is to have somebody feel heard and understood, not see what your memory is.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I'm hearing your some tips on empathy and on language, you know, and like making it efficient and not have, yeah, okay, thank you. Good, thank you, Susan. Kelly, go ahead, any suggestions?
So really, I'll try to be quick. The first week, I had a lot of strong feelings about, because I felt like it was less instruction and more just like a session. Looking back, I appreciate that vibe of having had a real session, but I still think it'd be good to like upfront give some kind of structure. Like here's, like Ed, when I saw you in a conversation actually with John Vervaeke, where you explained what you think empathy means. And when I heard you explain it, I was like, oh, like now it's like, we're all just like shadow boxing our projections of what we think you think empathy is. And my time's up, so I'm sorry, but I want to just throw out this last thing that feels kind of edgy. I think you should be more forward about saying this is a gift and receiving gifts. Like people, this has value, and you should feel more upfront about, hey, like we're accepting money for this because it costs money to do what you're doing and it has value. I think you should feel more affirmed to like put it forward in that way.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Really appreciate that. Diane.
Yeah, I think that the first session should have more of a even like one segment that's very like, here's how you do it. Like, okay, we can tell how to be a facilitator, the basics from just being in a group, but getting the tips, like these are some specific things to, you know, to get you started. You're going to go out and do a circle this week. Okay, here's some things to just, you know, maybe this many points that you may want to, you know, to include in your introduction, and watch out for this, and, you know, just a little more of an actual lesson the first session. I think that's important. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Cody, what do you got in terms of a suggestion for improvement?
Well, one, is there like a catch-all email that I can send out if I need a facilitator? Like for a group? If that
We
doesn't
have the
exist, that should.
Facebook. We have the Facebook group. It's not an email, but
I don't do Facebook.
Okay.
'Cause if you-
I'm looking at setting up an email list on Google Groups. So it's like I'm setting that up. So you could send an email and it'll kind of broadcast to everybody.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Just an email to like, hey, all facilitators, and then you can respond back. That'd be awesome. Other than that, no, this was great. Everybody said anything else that I just enjoying this. This is awesome.
Cool. Thanks, Cody. And Brandon.
Yeah, a lot of what's come up for me has already been said. I want to like reiterate what Kelly brought up. Also with Susan about like not having to remember all the details. That's something that kind of was irritating me throughout the process. What Deborah said about having like a level 2 or whatever around restorative circles. What Leslie said about embodiment, like I feel it would be great to start the session with some sort of grounding practice or heart practice to open up with. And also, yes, around also what Diane was saying, I feel like in the early sessions 1 and 2, where you're teaching more about the values and sort of the practical structural things, but there was a lot of teacher talk time, and that I'd love to like learn about those things in more of a like in small groups discovery or jigsaw kind of way. So we're active in the learning instead of just like listening to a lecture. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone, one and all, for the rich suggestions aligned with, you know, your vision of how this can work even better. So let's see here. We have one more question. I just want to double check our time here. We've got about 14 minutes left in this final fifth.
Yes. Shoshana said she would take that since Eli's having connection problems.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so Shoshana is going to help us kind of catch the last question here.
All right, the last question is, how are you planning on applying this process as you move forward? So what are your next steps? And I'll start with Kian.
Okay. Well, I guess as I said earlier, I don't have a job that I can incorporate this into, but you know, I'm definitely going to use it I think it'll be very helpful throughout the rest of my life in communication, just in general. But also, you know, I'm hoping to just as its own thing, just facilitate empathy circles regularly, so more people can have the experience of listening fully and feeling fully heard. And you know, I'm sure it will. I will use it, and it will be incorporated in many more ways than I can say or imagine now. But yeah.
Thanks, Kian. George?
Aloha. I'm going to continue with my initial groups, and then, you know, that was kind of my religious group to start with, but expanding out in other circles that I belong to and invite them to learn about the process and participate. And that's where I'm looking at going forward from this. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Sharon?
Hi.
Okay, so I do have a group already up and running, but I would I'm currently encouraging some of those to get trained as facilitators so they can join me. I think I've got one person that might be interested at the moment. So that's great. And then the second thing is it's two parts: working out how to A, attract more men to our group, because it's quite a lot of women, and B, how to find more people who are maybe not so like-minded, because I think that could start some really interesting discussions.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Kat.
I think I'm inspired in lots of ways, but I've thought of something during this session, which was to look around my local area, find out all the social issues that are going on, make a big long list of them, and then try and have empathy circles with different people in the community to try and solve those problems, and then try and speak to the council even to see if they can support with that kind of thing.
That sounds great.
That's
Leslie.
Yeah, I think the thing to the fore for me is having just wrapped up a short film that you know, asked the question, have we evolved only to be losing connection with our humanity? I've been working on it since December, and this experience has absolutely found its way in and around the making of this film. So sharing that is my next step, in conjunction with just continuing in a closer circle to be sharing the empathy circle process with people I know.
That's exciting. Thank you. And Deborah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in the check-in about my boss in the care sector being keen to promote it. I've got a friend as well who works for an NHS trust, and they've just been given a lot of funding for wellbeing. So she wants me to send her some info and see where that goes. And I'm also a member of the Rebel Wisdom community, and I've been holding some circles in the coffee shop there. And I think it's going to gain a bit more interest, but I would like some more facilitators over there. So if there's anyone who can jump on there and help out with that, that would be great.
Well, I would love that, Deborah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Susan.
Okay.
I'm going to take the 4-session program that's like the second version with Bill Filler. And I am in several different groups that are meeting regularly on Zoom, and I think I'll tell them about my training. And I would imagine that we might just scare up a number of new facilitators.
That sounds great. Build on what you have. Kelly.
I attend a drum circle every Sunday that I haven't been to in 5 weeks. So first thing is get back to the drum circle crew, which is I'm really looking forward to. And I'm going to invite them to do an empathy circle, which a couple of them already I've talked to about it. And yeah, I've got some other people that I'm planning. There's a group. I know a guy who runs a group called Intentional Societies, and they're interested in stuff like this, and they want to have like their whole group wants to do an empathy circle. And I guess what just came up that I guess I might work on is making some kind of like Slack or Discord for people who aren't hip to Facebook stuff, who want to coordinate amongst facilitators. So that's something I can definitely do, and would be happy to pass along the link for Edwin. You could mail it out and maybe not give you any work to do, but just make it so and let people communicate however is easiest for them.
That's great. I just learned about Discord myself during COVID. It's pretty interesting. Diane.
Well, my thoughts at this point are using the empathy circle for one thing to just cultivate relationships and also to connect to different other people. Like, like I'd like you to meet so-and-so. Let's see if I can encourage, get them together in a group like that. And also just exposing other people to the process and letting them have an idea and use it.
Thank you, Diane. Cody.
Yeah, I really want to. I'm starting a men's group soon, and so I'm thinking about kind of bringing this up as a kind of a thing we do every time we meet. You know, kind of a quick round robin, and then doing things like that, kind of having a little bit more cadence. And so, yeah.
Sounds great to me. Jane.
I have a plan to run this empathy circle with 5 people in Korea first. Then a bit like I tell them that I have a new tool that I learned from the Europe and America. So maybe they are interested in that. Oh, there is one new foreign tool. So many facilitators will be interested in that one. So I would try to attract them first. And then these 5 people, after running this circle, because that is what I can control of, like as a small group. After that, with these 5 people, I will take advantage to use them as the breakout room facilitator. So later I will run the big group and then ask them to be the breakout room facilitator. So that is my like a bit long-term plan. So at the beginning, when they come, they don't know, they will be the later the person to be the facilitator of the breakout room. So the people that I trying to attract them is the facilitator. So those who can applicable in their process. So that once they learn it, sure, they try to apply this way of emphasizing way into their workshop. So that is my plan.
Sounds like a great plan. Thank you, Jane. Heather.
I think at first just being, I guess using the tool personally and being more empathic. And I really like the idea of a culture of empathy, like for our world. And then also, like some people have talking about care workers. I think that's a natural place in a school system. In America, we call it, compassion fatigue. So that would be a really great way to just offer as a tool to other counselors and teachers, and just to kind of get it out, because then I think allows us to be more empathic.
Thank you so much, Heather. Brandon.
Few things. First, integrating this practice into the other kinds of circle practice that I use, seeing how it can fit, and particularly with an all men's group that I'm involved with. Also going deeper with this practice with my family, with whom I've found, as you guys know, that's borne fruit. And also wanting to bring this practice to people, communities whose voices just aren't heard, and like people who have been marginalized by like the medical establishment or the justice establishment to say that these people are other. So yeah, just wanting to have circles with them so more voices can be heard. And also I also work with a lot of non-native English speakers who often feel that they aren't heard by native speakers, and often I find that it's not that their English is not good, it's just that they have no confidence because they feel people aren't hearing them. And I don't think that, I feel like it's the listeners are just kind of, not wanting to change the frequency a little bit to listen to an English that's not what they're used to. So just wanting to help them build confidence in the English that they have through an empathy circle. Yeah.
Thank you, Brandon. Did I miss anyone? All right, Edwin, back to you.
Oh, okay. Thanks everyone for that feedback. And so with the training, we keep iterating on it. You know, we go through a cycle, we improve it, we present it, get feedback, keep developing. So I'm just like super pleased. It started with Bill creating the first little prototype of it and keep building on it. So thanks to Bill for kind of getting the ball rolling on this. And so really grateful for that. We are creating an email list so that you'll be able to post to that email list and get the word out to people on it for connecting with other facilitators as well as asking questions. Again, you can take the training again and again and again. So Timothy and Shoshona and Eli and are the trainees this time around, and they've taken it 2 or 3 times, and they're kind of ready to start going into the training, holding their own trainings. We're here to support that. So you can move along the path of taking the training again, take on as much responsibility as you want in terms of breakout rooms or just doing some presentations along the way. Take it again until you feel comfortable to, do the training, hold the training yourself. And we keep developing the website to create more support material, and hopefully it'll get more, it was a word Kat used, I can't remember what it was, but just to make it more kind of glamorous or something. I can't remember what the word was, but just to make it more accessible and aesthetically, functional. So, and then you can practice, come Friday to the Empathy Cafe. There's actually one Thursday to the orientation. It's at 8 p.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Friday. And you can come and actually be a facilitator, kind of practice there. And so we'll just keep building on this practice. Did want to put in, if you want to put in one feeling that you're having now. And Bill, do you want to sort of close this out? Do you have any?
Sure. Well, I just want to express my, and I think I speak for all the trainers, my appreciation for you all and, the experience and the sharing. I just will plug again my emails in there, Empathy in Schools, but also there were some questions about developmental issues and also kind of an empathy circle under the hood look. That's what it is. It's not the restore. I think that's an excellent module, Deborah, and that stuff like that. But I don't want to misrepresent it. So this is what that is. And just again, I'm feeling my heart's full, and I'm saying thank you. So that's it for me.
Okay, we're right on schedule here. So final jazz hands as we fade into the ethers. And see you soon. And facilitators, if you can stay, the trainers.
Sure.
See you next time. Bye for now.
Can you put your email address in the chat again for that course? Or is it in there recently?
Should be. I'll do it again.
Paddleman, your email?
Paddlin' Man.
Paddlin' Man.
I'm a kayaker.
Paddlinman at gmail.com.
At yahoo.com.
Oh, Yahoo, you're on Yahoo.
Okay, thank you.
We look down on those Gmail people.